We all know that guy. He's a billionaire, a genius. He invents world-changing tech in the morning, races his fleet of sports cars in the afternoon, and then spends his evening charming supermodels before writing billion-dollar checks. He's athletic, talented, brilliant, handsome, the kind of man whose jawline looked like Zeus himself carved it. His smile melts a room. His charisma, so thick you could swim in it. His friends, half of them are Times Person of the Year, and the other half are so rich that they could buy Time magazine if they wanted to. Sound familiar? Yeah, his name's Bruce Wayne, also known as Batman. Batman. And here's the kicker. He doesn't exist. He's a comic book character, but what's fascinating about it is that as humans, we need to invent characters like this. We crave the impossible archetypes of perfection. We want someone out there who embodies everything we wish we could be. And it's not new. In medieval Europe had knights in shining armor slaying dragons, and in ancient Rome and Greece told stories of warriors who fought gods themselves. Every culture has myths, its heroes, its legends of utter perfection. And today, we have our superheroes, our celebrities, our billionaires splashed across magazine covers. But why? Why are we so obsessed with creating or idolizing people who are better, faster, stronger, smarter, richer, and more moral than anyone else could possibly be? Because deep down, most of us are ordinary, powerless, and stories of perfection give us hope. Hope that maybe, just maybe one day, we could possibly be extraordinary. Think about Superman for a moment. Superman. He's not just strong, he's indestructible. Not just moral, but unwavering. In his world, right and wrong are always black and white. He doesn't compromise, doesn't make mistakes, doesn't question himself. Compare that to our lives. We make mistakes all the time. We second guess ourselves, we break promises, lose our temper, skip the gym, overeat, forget to call our mom back. In short, we're human. And so when we compare our messy, flawed reality to the flawless world of heroes, we can't help but feel inadequate. They're perfect. We are not. So what do? We try to chase them. We try to be Bruce Wayne. We chase money, status, looks, admiration. We try to stand out to be extraordinary, to be better than 99% of the people. But here's the uncomfortable truth. You're not going to be Bruce Wayne. Neither am I. And the harder we chase the illusion, the more miserable we become. Now let's bring this back to reality. Imagine life as one giant bell curve. On the right side, you got the outliers. Michael Jordan dunking on fools. You got Mozart composing symphonies at age 5. Serena Williams dominating the tennis courts. There are 1 in a million, maybe 1 in a billion people. And then on the left side, you got the extremes of the opposite. The ones who can't dribble a basketball, who can't carry a tune, and who trip over their own shoelaces. And in the massive middle, that's the rest of us. Ordinary, average, mediocre. Statistically speaking, most of us will live our lives in the middle zone. It doesn't mean that we're failures. It just means we're normal. Even people who are extraordinary in one domain are usually painfully average in others. Michael Jordan, for instance, he might have been the greatest basketball player of all time, but his baseball career, pretty forgettable. Brilliant CEOs often crash and burn in their personal lives. Health gurus who look flawless on Instagram might have wrecked relationships or miserable bank accounts. Nobody, and I mean nobody, gets to be Bruce Wayne across the board. Now here's where things get really messy. Social media has rewired up how we see the world. The internet rewards extremes. It rewards the most beautiful, the most successful, and the most outrageous. Nobody goes viral for being kind of okay at something. Think about TikTok or Instagram reels. You'll see a guy land a backflip off a moving car, a woman painting a photorealistic portrait in 2 hours, and a teenager making millions off trading crypto. What you don't see, the 10,000 failed backflips that ended in bruises, and the decades of practice behind the painting, the countless investors who lost everything trying to copy that teenager. We're exposed to those highlight reels 5 seconds of someone's best moment. And because we scroll for hours, we see hundreds of these highlights back to back to back. Subconsciously, our brain starts to think this is normal. Everyone else is extraordinary. I'm the only one who's not. But it's a lie, a carefully edited, algorithm-fed illusion. But what if you still want it? What if you're thinking, yeah, fine, most people are average, but I want to be exceptional. I want to be that 1%. All right, let's talk about the cost. To be world class in anything requires brutal trade offs. Want to be a billionaire? You likely sacrifice your relationships, your health, your free time. Just look at the world's richest men. Between them, they've been divorced more times than most of us can count. Want to be the best athlete alive? You'll dedicate decades of your life, push your body past its limits, risk injuries that could affect you forever. So you want to be the most famous? Okay. You'll trade your privacy, your peace, probably your sanity. Even if you climb to the top of one mountain, you'll feel painfully ordinary in all the others because no one, and I mean no one, can be extraordinary everywhere. That's just how the bell curve works. And here's the ironic twist. The people who actually do become exceptional don't usually think they're special. They don't sit around saying, I'm destined for greatness. Instead, they start from a place of mediocrity. They think, I suck, I need to get better, and that belief drives them to practice, to learn, and to improve every single day. Greatness doesn't come from believing you're extraordinary. It comes from knowing that you're not and obsessing over improvement. Tyler, the creator, once said, I actually suck. It's tight. That humility fueled his creativity. One of my favorite basketball players of all time, Kobe Bryant, RIP Kobe, was legendary, not just because of his talent, but because he was relentless about working on weaknesses. The best entrepreneurs, they don't see themselves as geniuses, they see themselves as students. If you want to get ahead of 99% of people, stop telling yourself you're special. Start telling yourself you're average and then work like hell to get a little bit better every day. Now let's look at the flip side. What happens if you reject mediocrity? If you believe life only matters if you're extraordinary, then by definition, you are saying that billions of average lives don't matter. That your neighbor who works a regular job, raises a family, and volunteers on the weekends is somehow worthless. And here's the kicker. When you eventually face your own mediocrity, and you will, you'll hate yourself for it. You'll see yourself as being a failure. That's why so many people who make it feel empty. They build their self-worth on being special. And when that illusion cracks, everything crumbles. So here's the radical idea. Accept your mediocrity. Admit you're average at most things. Admit you'll never be Bruce Wayne. Admit you'll probably never be the best in the world at anything. At first, it feels terrible, like eating steamed broccoli when you want a pizza. It's bland, it's disappointing, it doesn't taste good going down. But once you accept it, you feel lighter. The pressure disappears. You stop comparing yourself to every viral video that you see. You stop stressing about being special all the time. And here's the irony. Once you embrace being average, you're finally free to actually enjoy life. And ironically, you're in the best position to become great at something because your ego is out of the way. So if life isn't about being extraordinary, what is it about? The answer is deceptively simple. The ordinary things. Laughing with a friend, helping someone who needs it, cooking a meal with your family member, reading a good book, building something, not for fame or money, but because it brings you joy. These are the things that stick. These are the things people remember when you're gone. Nobody tells stories about how many followers you had at your funeral. They tell stories about the time you showed up when they needed you. Maybe these things are average for a reason because they're what actually matter. So how do you get ahead of 99% of the people? Not by chasing Bruce Wayne, not by trying to be extraordinary in every way. You do it by accepting your mediocrity, by embracing the fact that you're average in most things and living fully anyway. That acceptance frees you. It frees you from insecurity, from comparison, and from the hamster wheel of proving yourself. And paradoxically, it's the humility, the willingness to be ordinary that often leads to extraordinary results. So stop chasing the illusion. Stop comparing yourself to Bruce Wayne. Start appreciating the ordinary, average, messy, imperfect reality of your own life. Because at the end of the day, that's not just enough. It's what makes you human. And in a world obsessed with being extraordinary, maybe the most extraordinary thing you can do is embrace the fact that you're ordinary. From broken to blessed. That's my story. What's yours? If this hit home, hit follow and share it with someone that needs hope today.